As you know, SUGA or August D or Min Yoongi has partnered with the Severance Hospital located in Yonsei University to establish the Min Yoongi Treatment Center. He donated $3.6 million, which will support the treatment and social independence of children and adolescents with autism spectrum disorder, specifically using music to do that. A lot of people were asking or curious whether his work with Severance Hospital, or at least his when he served as a public service worker, when he was serving in the military, was he actually working in the Severance Hospital that inspired him to partner with them for this project. Unlikely, because public service workers would be assigned to public offices. So they could be assigned to hospitals to do record keeping or whatever, but those would be public or government subsidized, at the very least, government subsidized or government owned and operated hospitals or other offices. So it's unlikely that this was actually where he was assigned. So it seemed that based on that information, this was something that he just pursued. And he probably looked for different hospitals that would be willing to partner with him and that would accept the kind of help that he was offering. So also, he never really publicly disclosed what kind of work he actually did, and so to respect that, I am not going to specifically say what kind of work he took on, but I'm just going to be discussing public service work in general. So at the end of the video, we'll just have an idea on what are the possible things he could have done. And until he says specifically where he was assigned and what kind of work he was doing, then we will never know. All right, let's get on with the video. In 2019, Suga underwent surgery for a torn labrum in his left shoulder, a painful and serious injury that had bothered him for years. In South Korean military, trainees are graded from 1 to 6 depending on their health, and that determines their assignment. From grade 1 to 3, those are combat ready, and they serve in active duty. Grade 4 is limited duty, or public service, or non combat support. Grade 5 is exempted from regular service but may be mobilized in wartime. Grade 6, fully exempt due to severe health conditions. This condition and the surgery that followed likely contributed to his grade 4 physical evaluation, which made him unfit for active duty and eligible for public service instead. But just because he was going to do public service doesn't mean he didn't go through military training. Here are some of the training that they had to go through during boot camp. First aid training for public service workers. Even though public service workers don't serve in the front lines, they are still required to complete a portion of standard first aid training. One of that would be BLS, or basic life support. They learn CPR, they learn how to assess someone's breathing and pulse, and they learn how to respond to loss of consciousness. They also learn bleeding control, how to apply direct pressure on wounds, use of bandages, and other measures to try and stop bleeding. They also learn fracture and sprain care. They learn how to handle immobilizing limbs using slings or splints. They learn how to recognize signs of serious injuries. And then they learn burn and shock response, and that includes cooling burns, elevating legs for someone in shock, recognizing when to call emergency services. And then there's the evacuation techniques. They learn how to safely move an injured person, especially during an emergency, or when to not move someone. Public service workers are often stationed in public buildings like schools, community centers, or clinics, where basic first aid knowledge can save lives. Suga could have been assigned to a welfare office or school where knowing how to act in a medical emergency would be crucial. SUGA also went through the escalation training for public service workers. Even though they're not in combat roles, public service workers will be the first to be called if they are on site to de-escalate anyone presenting threat, and they have to hold the line until the police and other authorities arrive. So, some of the things that they learn: identifying escalating behavior. They learn how to recognize when someone is agitated or unstable, and when it has the potential to truly escalate into something serious. They learn how to spot early warning signs of aggressions. They also learn how to recognize someone's voice inflection, which could actually mean the difference between a hostage situation and a successful attended customer need. They also learn verbal de escalation techniques by using calm, steady tones. They learn how to control their emotions because they have to avoid emotional reactions. They listen actively and respectfully to people. And they learn the different techniques on how to calm down people that are agitated. Next, it is always about the safety of others. Public service workers are trained to not act like the police. If someone becomes dangerous or refuses to calm down, their role is to stay safe and remove others from the situation. Contact authorities immediately and hold the situation until authorities arrive. Disaster response training. Even though SUGA wasn't on the front lines, public service workers are often stationed in community-facing roles. And that means they need to know how to stay calm and take action during earthquakes, floods, typhoons, fires, and other evacuation scenarios. And that means they need to get trained on skills that they may be able to use during these times. And that includes knot tying, from square knot to bowline, to clove hitch, to figure eight knot. Knowing what to use could save someone's life. It's not about making fancy loops. It's about knowing exactly which knot holds under pressure and how to tie it fast, with sweaty hands, in the dark room, or when someone's life is hanging in the balance. In a flood, fire, or collapse zone, a rope and a steady hand can be the difference between danger and escape. And that's why even behind the scenes, soldiers like SUGA learn this quiet skill. They are also taught local emergency protocols, or how to guide civilians to safety, and coordinating with fire and rescue services. They learn how to operate emergency equipment like extinguishers, flashlights, radios, and public address systems. Communications and signaling in public service training. They learn how to operate a basic field radio, codes, signals, call signs, and other communication techniques that they may need during emergency. They are trained on emergency signaling procedure like reporting location, injuries, or threats. When we hear call for help, it sounds easy, but in a real emergency like a fire, flood, or a medical crisis, communicating the right information isn't just about yelling for help. It's about staying calm when everyone else is panicking. It's about knowing what to say first. For example, what do you say to a rescuer? You need to be able to give as exact of a location as possible, and that includes street numbers, floor, room numbers, landmarks. You need to be able to communicate succinctly what happened. Is it an injury, a fire, a structural collapse? You need to be able to communicate how many people are affected. Is anyone trapped or unconscious? Are there ongoing dangers like smoke, flooding, or a potential second collapse? The one on the scene, which is expected to be the public service officer, is the one that will direct the rescuers to the safest and fastest way to reach victims or people who need help. In disasters, public service workers are the last priority. First, of course, is the public. Second are the rescuers, because their skills may be used for other rescues. Public service workers are trained and expected to help others first and put themselves last. Emergency contact protocols. Because public service workers may be assigned to isolated or low-staffed facilities like schools, libraries, They're often trained in how to contact emergency services quickly and clearly, but also how to keep people safe while they wait for help to arrive. They learn how to keep a crowd calm during an emergency. They learn how to handle the crowd for an evacuation. They learn how to determine the fastest spots if there are clear and present danger. All the while, quickly identifying who are the priorities, who are the injured, and how to contact and communicate with rescuers. They do also go through modified physical training. SUGA would have done light to moderate physical exercise under supervision. People with recent surgeries are closely watched by military medical staff. They may learn marching, basic posture, military etiquette, and mild cardio for general fitness. He would still learn how to handle a rifle, properly put bullets in a gun, fire, properly empty a gun, but only for the sake of basic familiarity. They're also trained on mental preparedness and discipline. He'd still be trained in following commands, respecting the rank, understanding national defense structures, teamwork, and punctuality. They are still oriented on the missions and objectives of Korean military. This is the heart of basic training, not physical combat, but mental alignment with duty and responsibility. Once the training is done, they may be now assigned to different jobs and roles based on their physical grade, background, and national needs. So here are the different jobs based on their grade. Grade 1 to 3, that is active duty military service or UNYOK. They are assigned to the Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marine Corps. Some of the roles are infantryman, rifleman, tank operator, artillery crew, combat engineer, medic, military cook, driver, communications or radio operator, Air Force maintenance, mechanics, Navy crew, or sailor. They also may be assigned to public service work or sahe bokmu yowon. For those with health limitations like SUGA, but still fit for non-combat roles, they are assigned to government institutions. Some of the most common placements are administrative assistant at local government agencies, clerk at welfare center, schools, or library, assistant in fire stations, and they usually do fulfill non-emergency roles. They also may be a staff in a military hospital or public clinic. They can also do help desk or tech support in civil service departments. These workers wear a different clothing. It's not the camo. And they also live at home but must report daily to assigned posts. It is still legally considered military service. And then there's the consensus objector service or deche bokmu. These are for those who refuse military service on religious or moral grounds. Since 2020, they can serve in correctional facilities and they may be a support staff in prisons or detention centers, or they can also fulfill administrative and logistical duties. Next is industrial technical personnel. For conscripts with specialized skills in engineering, IT, science, or manufacturing, they serve in designated private companies contributing to national industry. Some of the examples: mechanical engineer at a manufacturing firm, software developer at a defense contractor. They can also be a technician in semiconductor or aerospace companies. Number 5, they can do research. If they have master's or PhD, or if they are a student in science and engineering, they can actually apply to serve by conducting research in government-approved labs or universities. Last, they can also do firefighter and police auxiliary service. These are now being phased out, but used to involve conscripts assisting full-time firefighters or riot police. Since SUGA did public service work, let's concentrate on that one. Let's break down the possible jobs SUGA could have had and what they actually involve. He could have been a government office assistant. Suga may have worked at a local district office helping with administrative work, and that could mean filing documents, answering phones, helping citizens fill out forms, running small errands for public officials. It's a quiet, routine work, but it's essential for keeping local government running smoothly. He could have been a school or welfare center helper. Another common placement is in public schools or welfare facilities. Here, he might have supervised children during lunch or recess, helped administrative staff with deliveries or classroom materials, or he could have supported programs for the elderly or disabled. These roles are all about service, being present, reliable, and helpful to the community. Public Health Center support staff. Suga could have been assigned to a local clinic or public health center, especially during flu season or COVID surges. His duties might include directing visitors to the right department, organizing medical records, assisting with basic logistics during vaccination drives. It's behind the scenes work, but it supports vital health services for the public. Next, IT or tech support. If skilled, given Suga's background in music production and technology, there's a small chance he was placed in an IT related public service role. That could have involved setting up computer systems, helping troubleshoot tech problems in government offices, digitizing public records. This is less common, but sometimes military officials match your skills with the department's needs. Another option would have been facility maintenance or errands. Sometimes public service workers help with general upkeep, sweeping public buildings, running inter-office mail, refilling supplies, minor manual tasks. It's not glamorous, but it keeps essential spaces clean, stocked, and running. Now, the pay. So, how much are public service workers in Korea actually paid? The short answer, not much. Since this is still considered military service, not a full time civilian job, the monthly salary is modest at best. For the first few months, while they are still adjusting or in training, public service workers usually earn around 600,000 to 700,000 Korean won per month. That's roughly 450 to 520 US dollars. As their service continues, that amount can rise slightly, up to about 1 million won per month or about $750 at most. It's not meant to be lucrative. It's meant to support basic needs while fulfilling a national duty. But there are a few small perks. Some offices provide free meals like lunch at a workplace cafeteria. There might be a transportation allowance, especially if you're commuting from home. And in rare cases, usually if you're posted far from your city, you might receive a bit of housing support. At the end of the 18 months, or 21, public service workers also get a completion bonus, a small lump sum, often between 10 to 20 million, saved up and paid out once the service is done. That's about 7 grand to 15 grand US dollars, depending on the year and policy updates. So there you go. It was possible he was assigned to a military hospital or a government owned hospital or a clinic as a support staff, or he could have been assigned somewhere else. And this was his project with the Severance Hospital, was just something that he really wanted to do. We know if you're a if you have been a long time army, then you would know that this was something that he has been wanting to do. So it's not surprising if it was just a project that he decided to pursue and take on independent of what he was doing as a public service worker. What is important is that he is doing something great, something that a lot of people need, a lot of people will benefit from, especially kids. And it's nothing short of great, nothing short of inspiring, and nothing short of m- motivating for people like us. We can do something. We can do something. We don't need billions and millions to be able to help. Um, just a small donation, spreading the word, offering our expertise, all of those things are enough. All right. If you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and share the video if you can, please. I have one last video to do. No, sorry, two more videos to do. One would be just a general discussion on the military setup and stuff like that, and then there's one more question that was sent in. I don't know if I will be combining those two things in one video or separating them. But then after that, unless there are other questions or requests, that would be it for my military my military series. And then we'll just go back to talking about music and movies and art. Okay, please donate to the channel if you can. You should be seeing the QR code. Please follow me on X, also on IG. But most importantly, please be a member of our Patreon community. It's a great one. We are expanding it. We're starting to talk about other groups, and of course, movies. We've always talked about these things. It's just that we're making more effort to try and invite other people in there so that we have a wider range of topics to discuss. But it's a great one. It's fun. And I hope to see you there. There is a free tier just in case you want to try things out. All right. Thank you.